The subject stares at a wall, time-lapse rendering hours and minutes into mere seconds. The Wallmaxxing project plays with time and attention. Replacing doom scrolling with literally staring at a wall forces a value comparison. Which is more worthwhile? The medium, a series of 21 YouTube shorts over the course of 21 days, adds another layer to the project. The humble scroller, in the midst of a scroll hole, is confronted with a man confronting the wall. The absurdity of this moment is a sort of koan. For 20-some-odd seconds, the scroller's life becomes the act of watching someone else do the most mundane thing possible. The secret, unreasonable hope tucked within this moment is prompting a reflection. I just spent 20 seconds of my one and only life watching this unemployed motherfucker staring at a wall. The viewers then snapped out of their scroll hole and escorted gently back to their life in meat space. The work's slogan, "F it, we wall," carries contradictory meanings. The air of living life with gusto and acting in a bold manner, as in, "F it, we ball." Yet it takes this gusto, this liveliness, and it applies it to the most mundane act possible. The hope here is to flip the script, highlighting the quiet glee and inherent value in unsexy yet deeply nourishing and reflective acts. With that pretentious art slop hooey out of the way, here's what I learned from taking on this exceedingly neurotypical endeavor. Number 1, Wallmaxxing is the retainer's choice. The wall does not suck my vril, nor does it siphon my jing. In fact, the wall does the opposite. The wall is a jing maxer's best friend. The wall says, "Gambatte, anon," to my brain, while it does all of the background processing it never has a chance to do in my normal, suppressed, maxed, and scroll-celled Chungus life. This comes into high contrast when considering the jing vampire that lives inside my pocket and the life force it consumes to maintain its unholy, perverse existence. Of all the boons that arose during this 21-day period, probably 70% came from abstaining from the rectangle, where the other 30% came from the wall itself. I wish I could say that every single Wallmaxxing session left me feeling recharged and upbeat, but sometimes the wall is hard. Sometimes it's inscrutable, sometimes it is blank. Number 2, staring at a wall is not good content. There's a little goblin, naked and wretched and sniveling, that lives inside my heart that was convinced that I would become famous over the course of this project. However, staring at a wall is shit content, no matter how based the art-ho write-up may make it sound. The project did not garner undying adoration from the masses, but the silver lining here is that that was not the main purpose of the project. Lesson number 3, the real wall is the friends we made along the way. On day 11, I was just about ready to wrap up this whole project. The videos were taking too long to edit, and it was starting to feel like a drawn-out side quest. In my darkest hour, a hero appeared to reach out a helping hand. His name? Samarvium. This was completely outside of my calculations, and the world opened up. All of a sudden, it wasn't just me and my wall, but it was me, my wall, Samarvium, and his wall. Heaven is other people. With Samarvium now at my side, my will reignited. Day 10 had been a key point in the Wallmaxxing journey when I'd first tasted the forbidden juice of what the wall had to offer. I steeled myself and steadied my vision. I would at least see Samarvium through to his day 10. The only thing better than Wallmaxxing is sharing the boons of the wall with a trusted nakama. Thus, the most important lesson from this whole endeavor is this: a helpful friend can bathe even the most mundane act in the warm glow of whimsy. Lesson number 4, the scheduling power of negative space. For 21 straight days, I woke up and the first things on my mind were, A, I need to schedule 20 minutes to an hour to stare at a wall, and B, I need an additional 30 minutes to an hour to edit the video. There's a certain absurdity to having my number 1 priority of the day be literally staring at a wall. Staring at a wall is absolutely a worthwhile use of time. It's definitely way better for you than doom scrolling, but I couldn't help but feel like I was scheduling in a waste of time. This was deeply intriguing. I've never set out to purposefully waste time before. Time wastes have always been an unfortunate byproduct, an aberration in a day meant for continuous flowing productivity, but now the wasted time became the main event, the thing around which all other things had to orbit. I felt kind of like, well, I already scheduled my wasted time for the day, so there's no time left to waste. Whether by a coincidence or causation, this period of Wallmaxxing ended up being unintuitively productive. And I really think that there's something powerful and underexplored here about scheduling wasted time in advance. Lesson number 5, Wallmaxxing is not meditation. Wallmaxxing trades potency for ease. I showed up to the wall each day without prescription. I allowed myself to eat food sometimes, stretch around, ponder on things. I didn't have to keep my back straight. I didn't have to focus on my breath. And I even spent some Wallmaxxing sessions standing or bouncing on the balls of my feet. Contrast this with meditation, where you have to focus really hard on your breath or something else, a mantra, and you have to keep your spine nice and straight, and you shouldn't move around too much, and you got to keep bringing your attention back to the object of focus. So the two felt definitely very different. Wallmaxxing felt easier and still nourishing, but far less potent, less engaging, less like a real thing. But I would say if you're like meditation curious, Wallmaxxing is an excellent middle ground, because meditation itself can be very daunting and very difficult at first. But if you're just setting a 20-minute timer and facing the wall, that's very accessible, easy to do. So I would recommend it highly in that case. Lesson number 6, the forbidden juice. It is really difficult to judge experiences like this. What is the right metric? How can I tell how much of my attention span actually returned? What effect was the Wallmaxxing having on my body, mind, and spirit? I couldn't judge by thoughts, because I'm already convinced that Wallmaxxing is a worthwhile endeavor, and I definitely couldn't judge by emotions. Many of the days I showed up to the wall unready and unwilling, or left the wall filled with scorn and malaise. But like I said earlier, day 10 felt like the real unlock. My body caught on to the rhythm of the wall, and our little dance started to click. The next day, day 11, I was feeling pretty hyped up for the wall, and that was the day that Samarvian blessed us with his presence, and then we were off to the races. Which doesn't mean the rest of the days were easy, mind you. On day 18 particularly, I brought a veritable miasma of despair to the wall, but luckily the wall holds all. At this point, I'd love to say something beautiful about my actions and my focus. Now, both were dialed to the fucking gills, mind you, and despite the emotional fluctuations, I moved like an uncaged animal, bringing every heavy thing to the wall and yoinking its manifold boons. This is the bind. Forbidden juice is forbidden for a reason. I cannot give it to you. However, the wall remains infinitely generous. You can get the forbidden juice for yourself. Lesson number 7, critique. The wall was really close to my face the whole time. It would have been nice to gaze out into the distance, give my eyes a second to relax. I mostly sat during the Wallmaxxing sessions. Later on, I discovered I could stand or bounce, but I sit too much already, so that was definitely a con. On day number 6, I Wallmaxxed outside, and the neighbors could definitely see me from their garden, and I was just sitting in a folding chair staring at a brick wall for 1 hour. Number 8, conclusion. When all is said and done, this project was a wonderful success. We'll return to the wall with secrets and sorrows in the future, and without the added pressure of having to make a video every day, it will be even sweeter. I've even incorporated Wallmaxxing into my life in the following way, and if you take anything at all from this video, try this method. It's actually insane. I'll set a timer for an hour, and I call it work or wall. During the hour, I can either work on the tasks that I'm supposed to be doing, or I can stare at the wall. Now, the beauty of that is that both of those things are very worthwhile things to do. They're both serving me more than doom scrolling, for instance. However, having a choice takes the pressure off. So instead of saying I have to write for 1 hour, I now have autonomy. I have a choice. I can write or stare at the wall. And usually how it'll go is if I don't want to write, I'll stare at the wall for 5 minutes, and after that, the motivation to write will spring up inside me, like as if by magic. My camera died, but you get the gist. Set a timer, work or wall. It's actually goated. Yeah, I think the next frontier will be Wallmaxxing. Blood pumping, eyes on the horizon, lymph nodes draining. but I'm not going to make any content about that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.